Today on Dr. Phil, invasion of the in-laws.
Imagine living with yours.
I can't stand her. Tell her to get the hell out.
You need to really cultivate a relationship.
That will never happen.
And remember these mouthy mothers-in-law?
What'd you say?
They're crazy. They drive you nuts.
You won't believe what this one was whispering right behind Dr. Phil's back.
Wanda thought the show was over.
No, go tell her Dr. Phil.
You can't look at her.
What was up with saying you got a big mouth on you, you little...
She does have a big mouth.
You are making a serious mistake. Coming up. Let's do it.
I want you to get excited about your life.
Here we go. In 10.
Stand by, camera, set.
If you're going to talk to me, you're going to have to be honest.
Stand by, Dr. Phil.
Showtime. This is going to be a changing day in your life.
Stand by A, and roll A. Check in. Go, Dr. Phil.
Today we are talking about in-laws, okay? Now, you either love them or you hate them, right? They're just wonderful supports or they drive you nuts. Despite an hour-long family intervention, my first guest, Carrie and her husband Ernie, and her mother Wanda, are back for more help. Now, here's what we know about them so far. You'll remember them.
My mom and my mother-in-law have been fighting since the day of my wedding, and it is driving me crazy.
Carol and I have never, ever seen eye to eye.
She calls me a and the F word.
They even got into a screaming match at my youngest daughter's first birthday party.
She said, what'd you say?
She put her hand up and I said to her, go ahead and hit me once.
The worst part of the whole thing is my husband and I constantly argue about who's parented right.
This is very stressful for me. It drives me crazy all the time.
Ernie is almost a clone of his mother. He's lazy, grungy, sloppy.
Wanda and I have never gotten along.
See you, Ernie. Yep. I think Ernie has every right to be upset with my mom because she has done a lot of bad things.
Doesn't this hurt the children?
Yes.
Maddie has been having trouble being potty trained, and she in her underwear at Wanda's house. Wanda took and rubbed him in her nose. Don't poop in your pants, it's piggy.
I tried to talk Carrie out of the marriage. I said, Carrie, you're too good.
My mom and my mother-in-law argued even when we were trying to plan for the wedding.
I'm in the door and she said, and what are you doing here?
I just said, get the out of here.
These two are getting married. It's about them. It ain't about you. You may be completely right that she was totally out of line and you were completely
That's all
legitimate.
I wanted you to say.
I'm going to tell you guys, if you care about those children, the two of you will bury the hatchet.
I don't have a problem with Wanda, other than you're not going to laugh at me or humiliate me or call me and everything else in public.
My heart's just broken. I think Carol needs therapy. I think Ernie needs therapy. And I think maybe we all need family therapy.
I felt there was more work to be done with this family, so I invited the mother-in-laws back to see if they could get along on a camping trip.
Oh my God, it is. We're camping.
Oh, I'm not.
Welcome. Just take me back to the airport.
Carol finally agreed to go into the Winnebago to watch a message from me. Hey, Dr. Phil here. The task that I'm about to give you will be challenging, but for your hard work, there are big prizes for tonight. I'll be watching you both very closely.
I'm disgusted with Carol.
I didn't think she would just totally shut down like that.
She had the power to make the decision of, am I gonna try and get along and get this stuff for my grandkids? If you can't suck it up and have your grandkids have stuff, then you know what? I don't need to be flexible.
I'm outspoken. Some people love me for it, and some people hate me for it. I don't expect Ernie to love me, but on the other hand, he should have a little respect for me. You walk in the house? You're afraid to even walk down the hallway?
If I am by myself, you will attack me at the wedding. You're the one that walked up to me and said, "Thanks for ratting me out, you son of a b."
It was a joke. As silly as that sounds. I don't think you've ever had a good home life, and you don't know what having a loving family is all about.
I'm being forced to choose between you and him. I can't do that anymore. It's tearing me apart. I can tell by the look in your face that you are so mad at me right now.
Do you call Carol names?
Behind her back or to her face?
You know, I was going to be a surgeon. The most vile word to any female is the C word.
I probably have said it in front of the grandkids.
You are so much alike that you can't even stand to look at each other. You are contaminating their relationship. If you care about those grandchildren, you two will find a way to be peaceful. Okay, now, I wanted Carol and Wanda to spend some time together. Maybe not camping, but someplace just to meet and talk and try to get along. Well, they finally agreed to have coffee, but only for 10 minutes.
And if these two could get along, I think it would bring on a lot more opportunities for them kids.
I can't look at her for a reason, okay? Because every time I look at her, I see that light burn her, my grandchild's face.
Well, Carol,
what am I supposed to say to
I
her?
would be willing to go home, Carol, and meet you for coffee at a restaurant.
Yes, I'll go to coffee with her. She wants to sit down and talk and be reasonable.
Mind if I have a seat?
No, I'm not going to get up and pull it out for you. That's a man's job.
Yeah.
From the time Wanda sat down, I don't think it was a hard, long time for me to sit there. It wasn't painful for me. Well, what's happening? Did you have a good time?
Yeah, I had a real good time. When I first came over there, I was amazed that she asked me to sit down, or she said, go ahead and have a seat, and that she initiated the conversation. I was very proud of her.
I've been to Oregon and Washington. I actually loved Oregon. Just loved it.
I was very surprised she opened up that much. I mean, I just thought Carol would just go into total shutdown mode. But it's my first time on the West Coast.
False chit-chat.
Did you hear what Casey asked me for his birthday?
Cowboy boots?
He said, Grandma, you gotta go find me a lasso and a donkey in California.
A donkey? We have nothing in common to talk about except grandchildren, and so I just made conversation.
30 seconds left.
30 seconds left. Are you timing it?
No.
I guess the positive part of it was that Dr. Phil said enough to us to get us to sit down and talk.
This wouldn't have happened in this lifetime had it not been for Dr. Phil's intervention.
Yeah, I'm great. Looked like a real healing took place there. All right, now, while Carol and Wanda tried to build a bridge, Wanda's daughter, Carrie, struggled to make sense out of her mother's behaviors. I want you to watch what happened just minutes after I left the stage when Wanda thought the show was over.
My mom, right after the show, when she went to give me a hug, whispered in my ear,
And that's the joke, and then go tell him Dr. Phil I said it.
oh, for crying out loud. She gets away with it, right? Because nobody else sees it. She came up to give me a hug and make it look like, oh, you know, everything's great. And that's what she whispered in my ear.
And right now I'm just emotionally drained. I hope Dr. Phil doesn't believe I was just playing for the camera.
I think my mom is kind of going to stay the same. She's going to say, you know, why did you air my dirty laundry? And things may get worse.
I'm emotional right now. I thought Dr. Phil really brought up some good points.
There's a problem here with boundaries. You are contaminating their relationship. You are creating problems in their relationship. That's not your job.
My mom can't change, then I guess, you know, it's going to be me and Ernie and the girls. And if she wants to be involved, fine. If she doesn't, fine too.
And I never pictured myself that bad. Maybe like Dr. Phil says, you know, you can't face an issue unless you know what it is. And he's right. I don't feel like I've lost my daughter. I hope not.
Clearly, there's more work to be done with this family. So Ernie, Carrie, and Wanda will be joining me when we come back. Plus, you need to find out who walks out of a family meeting when emotions reach a boiling point. We'll be right back.
You got a big mouth, you little is what you said.
You think I really meant
Yes! Yes, I do.
It was honestly a joke.
We're talking about in-law dilemmas. Now, Carrie and Ernie have been dealing with feuding in-laws really for the past 6 years. Since the last show, Carrie says that her relationship with her mother-in-law has never been better. Unfortunately, her relationship with her own mother, Wanda, seemingly has never been worse. Now, the two wanted to clear the air, so they decided, let's have a family meeting. So we had cameras there. Let's take a look.
I basically wanted all of us to get together and clear some of the air. Hi, Carrie.
My mom really hasn't talked to me since the show. She's really mad at me because I've been sticking up for Ernie.
Well, my hopes for this next half hour is just to have Wanda understand where we're coming from.
I'm really nervous. I mean, I've never really stood up to my mom before.
I'm not going to dredge up every little thing from 10 years ago. I just want us to get along as a family. And by family, I'm including Ernie. I wish, if you've got a problem with me, just tell me about it.
In the past, I felt like I have, and I've got jumped on for it.
We never realized that you held this inside.
I stuff it all down because, honestly, Fred, you have told me just that's the way things are. You got to learn to deal with it.
How come you haven't for the last couple of weeks? How come I haven't heard
Because
your
all
call?
we do is argue.
Oh, get on.
From now on, I'm just going to do what I want to do, and I'm not really going to care what anybody thinks of it.
Oh, I think you should care. I think we care for you.
Everybody in this whole issue has said that I need to get a backbone. Everybody wants me to have a backbone for what they want me to have it against. Ernie wants me to have a backbone to stick up to, you know, you and his mom. You want me to have a backbone to stick up to Carol. Carol wants me to have a backbone to stick up to you. Since we're being totally honest here, I feel like Mom can say whatever she wants.
That's your own fault if you don't say what you want.
I have, Dad, and the consequences aren't pretty.
I never realized I was that much of a thorn in your side.
I'm just supposed to take all this crap all the time and act like it doesn't matter to me, like what you said to me after the show. How do you think that made me feel?
I don't even remember.
You called me a
Oh,
I mean, was it honestly a joke?
it was honestly a joke.
You got a big mouth, you little is what you said. No.
Do you think I really meant
Yes. Yes, I do.
Sure had a hell of a lot thicker skin than this when you were in high school. Just a young
I'm just
girl,
supposed to
I'll
have
tell you
thick
that.
skin. That's a deal.
Well, I can't see we're dredging all this old stuff up. It's helping matters one little bit, so I'm getting out of here right now. It's enough for me.
All right. Well, you guys are back, and you haven't been talking much,
No.
right? Is it because it breaks into an argument?
It's like we start talking and then there's all these things that we know we can't discuss because we know that if we discuss it, it'll lead to an argument. So pretty much all we talk about is my girls, and then that's it, you know?
All right. Now, Ernie's here, your husband. This is your dad, Fred. Fred, how you doing?
Hey.
I'm just going to get right to the point here. I feel like you're in this blame game, turf war about who's right and who's wrong. What do you think about what I'm saying?
I agree with you 100%, Dr. Phil. And I'm willing to bury everything, put it behind us.
But you don't trust that.
I have
let's be honest.
I have some reservations. I do. And I totally agree with what you're saying. I mean, we just had dinner at my brother's house Saturday, and like, I looked at my dad and I got a big lump in my throat because I'm like, I know he's not going to be here forever. And it was like nobody was really rude to us, but I mean, my dad really didn't talk to me, and I just felt like, you know, he's mad at me for the show and everything. And I felt like, why are we wasting this time being weirdos? Because that's not how I want to be with my mom and dad.
All right. And you say you actually feel guilty for standing by your husband and your family because you think it's at the expense of your relationship with your mother and father.
Yeah.
Tell me about feeling guilty about that.
Well, I feel like it's a choice. It's a choice between either Ernie or my mom. And I just, it's the two people that I love the most in the world. And I don't feel that I should be expected to make a choice. The reason I wrote it in the first place was so everybody would get along. And it's just like totally, this part of it has blown up into a mess.
Well, look, here's something I want everybody to understand. Peace at any price is no peace at all. And what was happening before you came here is everything that's happening now, you were just stuffing it and ignoring it and pretending it wasn't happening, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not that everybody's gotten worse in terms of the way they're treating you. It's just you're not putting up with it anymore, and there is a price to standing your ground. We're going to talk about that when we come back.
She likes to act like she's Miss Mary Sunshine. She's a liar. She's a big fat liar.
My worst fear is that Carrie and our relationship would be worse. We've been so close for so long. I just can't imagine losing that.
I guess the thing I've learned is that, she's not going to change. She's never going to change. That's just how she is. She likes to act like she's Miss Mary Sunshine and Miss Happiness and likes to get along with everybody, and she's a liar. She's a big fat liar.
Well, that was Carrie talking about her mother, Wanda. Now, since the last show, things between Carrie and her mother-in-law have never been better, but she's struggling to redefine her relationship with her own mother, Wanda. What was up with saying you got a big mouth on you, you little
I said, you little witch. That was a misinterpretation. I'm sorry. That isn't, am I not right, Fred? Did I not tell you that after we got home? And that's the end of it. She does have a big mouth.
Well, our cameras are just rolling all the time, as you saw earlier. And we caught verbatim what Wanda said to Carrie after the taping. So let's see again what you think is a joke. Now, I have this bleeped here, but I can unbleep it. But let's just roll the tape.
You got a big mouth, you little. And that's a joke, Kimberly. Go tell Dr. Phil I said it. Oh, for crying out loud.
Okay, now you say that you said which to me, I'll give you that even I don't think that's right. It's pretty clear. But whether it was which, gritch, whatever, was that said as a joke?
To me, it was, and I think Carrie knows me well enough. Anybody can laugh, they can smirk all they want to. Carrie knows me well enough.
Did you see her face at the end of that?
Yes, I did.
So, is that the kind of thing you're talking about, that it appears everything's fine, but underneath, nyeh?
Yeah.
Okay, and the reason I'm asking you that, there's a point at which you just have to move forward. If we just said, all right, look, you cannot change the past. It's over, it's done, nothing's going to happen. You've all said things about each other, but you've got to go forward from here. What do you need to stop doing in order for things to get better?
I guess I've got to start being a better mother-in-law and a better mother. I never knew that I hurt Carrie's feelings that much. I'm very sorry, Carrie. And if I've got to change my whole lifestyle and my language, well, then I'll try to change.
Nobody's asking you to do that. That's ridiculous. Nobody
I
ever said
know that when I said that on the show, that was very inappropriate.
But look, you love your husband, right?
Totally.
I mean, he's the one, you're going to keep him?
Well, I think we've been married 37 years.
You've been married 37 years, and that's who you're married to. You're not married to Ernie. And somehow or another, it's gotten where you've decided that you have to have the approval in order to be okay with your partner. You said, and I quote, Ernie and I felt great after the show. I stood up to my mom. I stood up to Carol, which I didn't think I could do in a million years. It has empowered Ernie and I. We are more of a team, and I feel much, much better about our relationship as a product of doing that.
Yeah, that's true. And I
Now-
still feel that way.
Then you need to decide, Wanda doesn't have to feel great about your husband. It'd be wonderful if you did. You've actually said he's a hard worker, he's a good husband and a good father.
Yes, he is.
And then you went on to say some other things about him that weren't very flattering. But maybe you can focus on those things. This is about boundaries and about maturity. You've got to put up boundaries here. And you really need to just kind of lighten up and love those grandchildren. If it's tolerating him, then you can live with tolerated, can't you?
Mm-hmm. Yes. I can live with it.
That would be an improvement, wouldn't it?
Would be an improvement, yeah.
Over some of the things that you've experienced in the past. And
Yep.
if you just tolerate her, I mean, he's been rude to you and said ugly things to you, and you admit that, right?
Yep.
And you admit that you've said ugly and rude things to him. That's unbecoming to both of you. So, this family needs a hero. It needs a lot of heroes. It really does. You know what I mean by hero? Somebody that just steps up and says, you know what? I'm going to be the one that is the bigger person here. Mm-hmm. The only person I control is me. You're either contributing to this relationship or you're contaminating it. If she's contributing to it, great. If she's contaminating it, shut the door.
Okay.
Same with you. Just decide, you know what? I am not going to get down in the gutter and fight this out anymore. I'm not going to do it. I'll take the high ground. Mm-hmm. You've got to forgive him for everything he said that he shouldn't have said, everything he's done he shouldn't have done. You've got to forgive Wanda for everything she's said or done that has been hurtful to you, and the same with you. You truly choose forgiveness and move forward. But the key to success is boundaries. It's none of your business how those two are getting along unless you're invited into it. It's not your job to have to please your mother all the time.
Yeah, that's
You're
what
married.
I'm
It's
learning
time
the
to
hard
it's time to be an adult.
Yeah.
And I'm sure my mother doesn't approve of everything I do. And she watches me every day. But you just have to do the best you can, but focus on your family. Okay? And we're going to really make a decision to just forgive the past. Don't try to fix it. We don't want to play the blame game. I don't want to convict you of all the things you've done wrong, and you and you.
Right.
Forget it, doesn't matter. Fred had a good point to me. He said, quit talking about this stuff. Let's move on, right? Wasn't that your point?
That was my idea.
All right, I want you all to keep listening. We're going to talk about some more stuff. All right, next, we're going to talk to a married couple that live in his mother's house. Now, can you imagine that if you were all living with one of your mother-in-laws? You're going to find out why 3 is a big crowd when we come back. All right.
I can't stand being around her.
Elena acts like a 10-year-old. She needs to grow up.
She moved into my house.
I asked her to stop, and she replied, if you don't like it, you can get the hell out.
Well, we're talking about in-law problems today, and maybe a day is not enough to do that. Now, Ray and Elena have been living with Ray's mother, Ida, for the last year. Now, Elena says she can't stand being around her meddling, abrasive mother-in-law. Ray says his mom's just trying to help.
It's not her job, so you gotta tell her to back off. The biggest issue with my mother-in-law is that she just interferes too much. We have 15-month-old twin boys. If we're getting ready to go out somewhere, she'll just say, don't you think they need hats? Don't you think they need socks on? And it's just like, I know.
She's very defensive and very independent. She doesn't want help from no one.
I have spoken to her, and you have spoken to her.
And it doesn't work.
Collectively,
it doesn't work. I can't stand being around her.
Elena is very protective of the kids. It's all right for me to help, but no one else.
When Ida goes near my kids, I can feel my blood boil. I just want to be able to do what I'm supposed to do as a mother, and I want to have no interference, and she just interferes.
She'll come into the kitchen and walk past me, and she'll say to Ray, tell her I don't want her folding my clothes. Then I'll say, Elena, you just walked by me, why didn't you tell me? Then she says, I'm their mother. I said, no kidding.
Elena acts like a 10-year-old. She needs to grow up.
If Elena's mad at me, she brings the children out, but she hides their face to ignore me.
They scream at each other. There is a lot of door slamming.
I don't want a relationship with her. Ida used to curse in front of my sons. She would call Ray and she'd call the dog and I was absolutely appalled. I asked her to stop and she replied, if you don't like it, you can get the hell out.
She moved into my house.
When we passed each other in the hall, we just looked the other way.
Elena feels as if everyone is against her. Maybe she just doesn't understand.
Well, and that's what you got to figure out because I can't take this anymore. I feel like she's turning him against me.
If I favor one or the other, they both feel disrespected.
I don't want them to move out. They can't afford to move out.
Eventually, either my mother will end up having a heart attack or Elena will leave.
I'm trying to communicate, and I'm not being heard. If my thoughts and feelings continue to be disregarded, I can't stay.
Well, you feel trapped where you are, right?
Definitely.
And you opened your home to them, why?
Because when she came from Canada, it was going to be her home. But she is on the defensive end for everything.
Yeah. This is your husband, right, Ray? Now, you feel like you're in the middle as well.
Absolutely.
Okay, and you think he's not supporting you, correct?
Correct.
You said, and I quote, it's hard to support something you don't believe in.
Correct.
What were you referring to?
Over the past year, I believe Elena has created this wall, and within this wall, there are certain people that she has accepted. Kids, her mother, her father, myself, and if they are out of that loop, she doesn't open that door. She actually rejects help from the outside.
Okay. Well, all right, I'm going to come back to that. You have twins, which are awfully cute, by the way. And you just love having the twins around, I know. But when you're upset with her and you're going by, you will cover their faces so she can't see them?
I believe that's what she said. But no, I don't cover their faces.
You turn them so I don't see them, and you walk right out the door.
Okay, I would agree with that.
Let's start over, okay? I deal with things straight up. And if you guys don't have a problem, then let's go home and I'll do something else. But if you do, you've got to be honest about it. I'm not trying to put words in your mouth, but let me tell you what you have given us. That you haven't spoken to her in 3 weeks, that you slam doors in her face because you don't want to deal with her. You lock your door when you leave because she goes in there and cleans your bed and sheets and flips your mattress and...
No, I never flip mattress. She says I do.
Okay, I'm just... Okay, you said that she flipped your mattress, right? You laid down on it, it was really hard, you pulled the sheets back, and sure enough, she had flipped your mattress while you were gone. And that was just offensive to your sensibilities in some way?
Well, I mean, if I want my mattress flipped, I'll flip it myself.
It's an intrusion to your privacy.
It goes beyond the mattress flipping and it goes beyond that.
You get upset if she washes clothes, the kids' clothes, and does laundry and things like that because you feel like that's your job.
It's my job.
Okay. You said you feel anger and resentment towards her, that you are appalled by her as a person.
I said that.
You think she is rude and abrasive, that she never has anything intelligent to say, that you just don't enjoy being around her, don't enjoy talking to her, that she's ill-mannered, and you do not want your children around her. It wouldn't faze you in the least if you never spoke to her again. Now, stop me if I run a red light here. I just want to blow up. I know I'm going to snap if something doesn't happen. Did you say those things?
I said those things.
Okay, and does that pretty much embody your feelings towards your mother-in-law whose home you're living in and whose food you're eating? And
Right.
now, I'm going to get to you in a minute. You
I'm
may think
keeping
this
quiet.
is going great, but I'm going to get to you in a minute. Because there are two sides to every story. I mean, you've told her, if you don't like it, get the F out of my house.
Mm-hmm.
And if she says, please don't swear in front of my children, you just ratchet it up and do so even more.
No, she said
That's what you said,
yes, and then she apologized.
right?
She said, accept my apology. I said, okay, I won't swear anymore in front of them. I said, they're only a year old, like they can understand.
I was just trying to break the habit
Sure.
early.
Because it's not good to be doing it in front of the kids, and they do understand, trust me. And they have good
And a
memories,
year-old?
and they will, oh, yes, ma'am. They understand the
Dr.
tone, they understand that a word is emphasized and that it's ugly, and what's more is you'll be at the grocery store with them, and they'll repeat that for you when the preacher's coming by and shaking your hand. I mean, trust me, I know this the hard way. All right, let me take a break, and then I'm going to come back and see if we can unravel this. Tough situation. We'll be right back. Those kids will mimic that even if they don't know what it means.
Elena just does not like my mother, plain and simple.
When I first got pregnant, she said, you guys should have used rubbers. I feel like one day I'm just going to snap.
All I want is a little appreciation from Elena. Just a word of thanks is enough.
Well, we're talking about in-laws. Now, imagine living with yours. I'll give you a minute. Run it through in your mind. It's tough because the privacy is compromised. Now, that's Elena's problem. She says when she asked her mother-in-law to stop cursing around her 15-month-old twins, that Ida said, if you don't like it, you can move the F out. Elena's husband, Ray, says he feels stuck in the middle, which I can well imagine. How old are you?
I'm 40.
What are you doing living with your mother? Because it hasn't really just been a temporary thing.
Correct.
But you've actually been there for like a year.
Yes, I had a job and I lost it, and because I was previously married, I am paying support for those kids, and it's very difficult.
You need to move. If you have to go to Home Depot and get a tent or something, you're going to damage things here in a way that's irreconcilable. You're newlyweds and you've never had your own place with your husband, which puts you in a really bad spot that you're not handling well.
Right.
You said, I resent her, I don't like her, I have bad feelings about her, and then you said, and I don't know why. Well, let me tell you why. You're in an untenable situation. It's not fair to you, and you're not handling it well. You're letting it get the best of you to the point that you're being rude and abrasive, right?
Yeah.
You bite, you're going to get bitten back.
Right.
But you two are both victims here. And now that takes a lot for me to
She
say.
won't take any help, assistance you offer, forget it.
Right. And do you know why?
Because she wants to be in control.
Because she's the mom. It's her family, it's her children. And she's a young mother who's wanting to stake out her territory. And she says, it's my job to do the laundry, it's my job to make the bed. And when you do it, that's kind of like saying you can't. I mean, it hurts her feelings and sends her a message. Ida, listen, your heart, I truly believe your heart is so in the right place. You've opened your home. You're being very giving about this, but you're being victimized by the fact that you're in an untenable situation. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I absolutely understand.
And you're going to wind up getting a divorce here.
Elena, and I love her to death. However, I mean, she has never really established, her own place. And I want to give her, everything that she could possibly want. And you're right. We need to establish our own residence. And again, that's not going to help the situation between her and my mother. Long term, it will.
Oh, yes,
Long term, it will. I agree with that.
I've been doing this for 30 years. Trust me. It will help immensely. There are a lot of people who get along a lot better long distance than they do standing next to each other. And not because there's anything wrong with either person. All right, let's take a break. I want to come back and talk about this some more. We're talking about problems with your in-laws. Now, Elena lives with her mother-in-law, Ida, and it's creating a lot of friction, a lot of tension. And do you get what I'm saying? I'm saying two things. Number one, you are in a very unfair, untenable, and bad situation.
Yes.
And you're being victimized by that situation. And number two, you're not handling it very well.
Right.
Do you agree with that?
I agree.
Okay. And you're in an untenable situation because you've got a new mother here, a new wife here that's trying to get her feet on the ground and make her nest. And then here you are being the quintessential mom who's wanting to go around and fix everything for everybody and do this and do that and wash this and fix that. And she's saying that job's already been filled. And so she feels threatened and crowded and encroached upon by you, who are just taking care of your home like you've always done. So there's not an evil intent in what you're doing, in my view. And one of the things you talked about was how much you valued and appreciated the relationship you had with your grandparents.
Right.
I mean, so you recognize how important that can be for your twins to have a great relationship with their grandmother. Because there is no purer love in the world than grandparents. I mean, right? Because they don't have to do any of the discipline. They don't have to do any of the dailies. They just get to, like, give toys and hugs, you know?
If they're old enough to discipline, I'm sure she'd like to do that too.
Yeah, well, but we're not trying to start a new fight.
No.
What we're trying to do is move on here. So what I'm trying to do is say that you've got to decompress this situation some way. If that means you need to get a job and contribute and start working, you need to get some sort of employment, some sort of plan, some sort of way to give your marriage a chance to breathe. Did you hear me talking to these guys about boundaries?
Yes.
You have none. You have no physical boundaries. And the only fences that are being put up are fences of hostility and resentment, and that's not a good way to build a fence.
No, I understand that, and I appreciate that. I think just in the heat of the moment, I think a lot of words are said that cut very deep, and you can't just take them back.
No.
And I think that stems from a lot of the issues.
Yeah, and do you think this would be decompressed if you moved in some way?
Absolutely, yes.
Do you have a plan for
absolutely.
living separately?
Yes, I do.
How's that?
I do have a job. I start next week, actually.
Okay.
So,
and will that provide you enough wherewithal that you could get even a small apartment, or?
that is the first step. You know, we will be getting our own place.
You don't need a lot of distance here, but you certainly need a different roof. That is very, very important. And I really think that you two might want to revise your relationship. Look at this after you've been separate for 30 days. Everything you're getting from her right now is distorted by the situation you're in. You got to take the chip off your shoulder, and the only way to do that is to get your own place and space where you can be who you're supposed to be, right? That's what needs to happen. But then you need to really cultivate a relationship between the boys and grandmother.
That'll never happen.
Is that true?
No, I would. We just need to get things resolved, and that's why we're here. So
Yeah.
We'll see.
See, these are the attitudes both of you are kind of sitting here like, boy, yeah. And I understand that you need decompression, and you need to let time heal some wounds here, and you need to step up and be the leader here and get this situation resolved.
And that's the problem.
In discussions, a lot of the time, Elena always feels everyone is against her, and she takes things out of context. I mean, I support her. I support her 100%.
Whenever there's a problem, I'm the one that has to try and fix it, and you just kind of push it away like, oh no, that didn't happen. No, she didn't say that.
And you don't come point blank and say anything. You say it through Ray. Just like in the kitchen when you...
Okay. There's clearly more work to do here. But all I can do is start this, and I'm saying step one is you need to decompress this situation by getting a different living arrangement. And if you don't do that, this is going to go down in a spiral, and you're going to wind up being divorced again.
I agree.
And you're going to have 4 kids out there you're paying support on, none of whom you're living with. You need to get this decompressed, and then I promise it will look differently even 2 weeks after you're there. And I will continue to help and work with y'all and support you any way that I can. We'll be right back.
Since this show, I think things have changed. I hope for the better.
I am happy because the show has helped quite a bit with Carrie and I, because we're discussing things more and talking about things.
I think Dr. Phil's intervention has helped because I realize that I can stand up for myself and for Ernie and my family, and the world isn't going to come to an end.
We all have in-laws. We all have extended family, and managing it is not easy, but it's important to manage it because extended family is such an important support system for everybody. I want to thank my guests for being here today because I think they're great examples of what we're dealing with. For better or worse, includes dealing with your in-laws. So if you're struggling to keep the peace, go to drphil.com. I'll have some more advice, some checkpoints that you can go through, questions to ask yourself, and we'll see these folks again. Thanks for being here. So long.